What's up, guys? Chris Moulton, Andrew Martin. It's the Union Report, and we have with us the Gaffer Jordan Stewart. This is the State of the Union.
All good. Every time you guys come, the sun's always out.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
We bring it with us.
Yeah.
This is where I come to get my tan.
Yeah, exactly.
And happy belated birthday.
Thank
we
you very much.
Send you a little birthday card on Instagram yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
But,
Thank you.
So we just wanted to jump right into it and start off with asking you, how would you grade the off season and preseason if you had to give it a letter grade, A through F?
I wasn't very good at school, so my grades were never that high. But I don't know. I think overall it's been good. I don't think you can ever say great because you're still always working on things as the amount of changes we had on the field. So I think it's good. We've gotten a momentum. We've managed to get everyone to the allotted minutes throughout the preseason. Everyone's got a lot of game time. Everyone's understanding the philosophy and the culture of the team. So I think in general, it's been very good, and I think from now it's obviously the focus is San Antonio and beyond. So, but all in all, been good. Couple of injuries, but it's unfortunately that's the nature of the beast. But I think in general it's been good.
Awesome, Andrew.
Yeah, so after seeing the guys play throughout the preseason, how would you describe this team in terms of maybe like an identity or something that stands out for you?
I think it's similar to my philosophy of like, we want to be a heavily possession team. I think we have the ability to score goals, which we've seen in pre-season from different types of areas and different players, which is also good. You know, you never want to rely on just on one individual to be scoring the goals. So having goals from different areas and also not allowing a lot of goals. Obviously, once you get in the season, you have certain goals you want to hit. Whether it be not conceding goals, clean sheets, or scoring goals, but ultimately our aim is to win games and to make the playoffs.
Awesome. So this team, it's incredibly potential heavy.
Yep.
And how excited are you based on what you've seen this preseason, having the guys all in camp and the preseason gone through and seeing the results? How excited are you based on the potential of this squad?
No, I think very excited. I think everyone has molded well. I think we've come together as a team, which is always not a scary thing, but you always want to see how quick it develops, right? So I think having the players coming from all over the world and everyone connect, and you have local guys, you have guys here from last year to tell them how the USL is, you have guys that have been abroad to give different stories. So just having that interaction of everyone's able to tell a different story, but all based around soccer is I think is a really good thing. And I think over time when you connect and you're winning, it's like anything, it's like a snowball effect. So I think having the guys that we have, there's, like you said, there's a lot of potential, but now it's up to us to produce on the field.
And just to follow up on that, Andrew and I noticed there wasn't a ton of shots against us taken in the preseason matches. Is that any concern for you that the goalkeepers didn't get a ton of opportunities to save balls?
No, hopefully that's a good thing. No, I think it shows that the way we want to press and the way we want to have the ball a lot of the time. Like those kind of actions, it's not just from the defenders, right? It starts from the front all the way to the back. So I think having that process of pressing the ball and trying to win the ball higher up the field to then create opportunities going forward is something that is one of our things that we want to be focused on. Yeah, you never want the ball, you never want to be sitting in a low block, right? So I think being aggressive, but then also being smart in certain scenarios. Even against SAC, there were still moments where they was able to get in beyond the defense, but it's just from there, knowing the unit get broke of how you address that situation after that. So now I think in training and the things how we play, like you see actions and goalkeepers see actions as well. Sometimes it's goalkeepers don't want to be bored because they want to get involved, but I think as a coach you want them to be as bored as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew?
Yeah, so entering this offseason, one of your stated goals was having 2 starters at every position. And I think, it's safe to say from what we've seen with the signings, what we've seen on the field during the preseason, that the club currently has kind of unprecedented depth on its roster. How difficult is it to manage depth on a roster and get guys onto the pitch and, manage expectations and all that?
I think during preseason it's easier because you're rotating guys, you're trying to get guys to a certain amount of minutes, and you're trying to do that with the whole squad, right? Once obviously you get into season, and then you even San Antonio, right? You only can take 18, so guys are getting behind. I think those conversations are obviously tougher, but it's part of the deal. And then I think the main message is like with regular season, Jaeger Cup, Open Cup. If you go deep runs in all of those, like you're gonna be playing 40 plus games. So we're gonna need guys to be available all year through, and obviously through rotation, injuries, suspensions. There's gonna be a lot of moving pieces. I don't think you're always gonna get the same lineup every game, right? So I think yes, you have a deep squad, and with that, everyone wants to play, which is normal. But I think the honesty and the messaging that everyone's still gonna get a lot of minutes is kind of the fundamental, and also knowing that the team is the biggest goal, right? Of as a team, where do we want to reach? Not individually. I think when a team does well, individually you can shine as well, right? So I think when you have the two going in the same direction, it's a good thing.
Yeah, and following up on you mentioned the cup play and how that may get different folks on the field. How might that impact your starting 11 from game to game? Will that be situational, or?
Yeah, I think even after Oakland, right? You have SF International on a Wednesday, and then you're going down to OC on the weekend after, right? So you got 3 games in. I think even in the first month we got like 6 games within the month, right? So yeah. I think it's impossible to play the same team. You want to have the continuity as a team if you're winning, but then also you want to make sure everyone's fresh for as long as possible. So I think it's a mix of having guys that are available, but also making sure guys are fresh for each game. And I think you only can do that through some kind of rotation, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. So if you're a fan, expect to see a lot of different lineups.
Yeah.
And so I want to kind of switch gears for a moment. I think a lot of people were surprised that Nico Gordon got the armband, only because we're not privy to what goes on the training pitch, in the dressing room, all that. Can you tell us a little bit about like something that separated him from the rest of the potential captain candidates?
I think there's a lot of factors that go into your captaincy, right? But I think obviously Kai was captain last year, and you could have gone to a amount of people when it comes to the armband. I think obviously Nico being captain for North Texas and taking them to the final, knowing what that feels like, even though like some people might say it's MLS Next Pro, but having that and going to the final, knowing the pressures and being in the MLS environment, and even though he's young, like still got in team of the year. So I think, when you have a centre back that's a captain, it always helps more, someone that can see the whole game. But you can name off a number of guys that could have got the armband, right? But just I think for me and as the staff, we thought that was the right direction to go in. And I think like if he's not playing and somebody else comes in, then they all get the armband. So it's for me it's just Nico is our captain, and that's the lead we want to take.
Nice. Yeah. All right, Andrew.
Yeah, and just following up on that, obviously naming Nico as captain is just another example of Monterey Bay, I think, has entered a youth movement.
Yep.
You guys have dropped, from my research, I think over 2 years off your average age on the roster.
Yeah, I think we was the oldest starting 11 last season in USL champ. So I think a big thing for me is you want depth, where you want, for the way we want to play. And obviously I was an older player at one stage, so sometimes you can't do the actions that we asked for 9 minutes, right? And I think the direction we wanted to go was a younger team and more high energy team, and younger guys that still feel like they have the potential to go and do great things at other places, whether that, like I said before, MLS or abroad or whatever. But we wanted guys that was going to be hungry, and guys that are going to compete. And I think the squad we have, you still have experienced guys like Guzman and Dico. I think those guys can help the younger guys as well. And then guys that was here last year, like Lara, Granny, these types of people can also help with to their expectations, how he operates as a USL Championship team, and just the league in general, right? So I think having the mix and the blend of that is a good thing.
Nice. And so, from a fan perspective, like it's a totally different vibe. Like from the moment we hit the parking lot in the stadium, everything feels different. I feel like the club has done such a fantastic job this offseason, really turning the page and starting a new chapter. Can you tell us a little bit about the vibe though in the dressing room? How is that?
No, I think it's because obviously I'm not in the dressing room with them guys a lot. I like to try and keep that separate, apart from when I'm doing meetings. But I think the vibe of when we train is everyone wants to compete. Everyone holds everyone to a high standard. Everyone's trying their best in every session. Everyone's vocal. Even just the communication between myself and players is very good, open dialogue. And then I think obviously as an organization, like where we have been for the past 3 years, to be honest, is we've not been successful, right? So we need to change that, and it starts with us as a team, because once you start winning games, you get more buzz in the community, and then once you do make the playoffs, and then everything happens right after that. So I think it's for me, it starts with us because we can control a part of that. Obviously, as an organization, you want to still spread the word of Monterey Bay and get more eyes on us, but I think ultimately it's dictated by us what we do on the field. So our job is to basically win games.
That's right.
So the more games we win, I think the more buzz you get in the community, and then from there it's just building. So I think all in all, I think we've done a great job. I think the vision of the club, the vision of the whole organization, staff, players is in the right direction. So now it's time to stop speaking about it and start doing it. So time for execution.
That's right.
Yeah, so entering this preseason, was there something that you had identified as critical or important for the team to achieve, and did you achieve it?
I think we had a meeting on Monday just to go over the expectations and my philosophy and our philosophy as a staff of what we want to do this season. Not so much goals, but just more so the culture and from the physical and the mental side, and understanding what that is and how that is. How do we dictate that? Not only here day to day, but also once we get into games, and how do we learn and how do we execute, and understanding that within the structure that we have, there's still the freedom to be creative. I think soccer's a sport where you need to have that creativity. You don't want 11 robots on the field. You know what I mean? So you want, and the fans ain't gonna like 11 robots on the field either, right? So you want to give fans. End of the day, we're entertainment. We want to win, and we're entertainment at the same time. So you want, when fans come, they're enjoying the product that's on the field, and the only way they get that is if we play well, but also we have the creativity, the freedom, the chance for each player to express themselves. So I think that's super important when it comes to playing style, and just the philosophy I have is we have to play with the freedom of when the reason why we started playing football, that what you have inside you, that's what you have to bring out and to use whilst playing within a structure.
I will amend that. I think we don't want 11 robots unless their model number is CR7.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? We'll take 7.
Exactly.
So this question is kind of difficult, but most outlets have NBFC finishing outside of the playoff window. Every single one that I've seen.
Yep.
How do you embrace the underdog role and use that to motivate these guys?
I don't think you need any motivation from that. I think as long as outside noise can be whatever, right? They can say you're going to win, you can say you're going to lose, you can say you're the best team, you're the worst team. Ultimately, it's dictated by what you do as a team. There's the players and the staff and the club know where we want to be, know what it takes to get there. But like I said, there's no point me saying no, they're wrong, because nobody can see in the future, right? So it's an opinion. Like you respect their opinion, but it has no consequences of how we operate as a club or how we're gonna go in week to week of like, oh, yeah, we're looking that we're not predicted to be in the playoffs. Like who? Like who cares, right? So and I don't say that to be like to have like an ego or something, but I think the way our mentality is like it's whatever happens, what people say on the outside, you can never change it. So the only way you get to change people's opinions is what you do on the field. So at the minute, we've not been a successful team, so that's what they're playing off, which is fine, understandable. But then it's our job to change those ideas of how people think Monterey Bay is, right? So I think it's like I said, going back to us and what we need to do is we need to win games. So until you do that, like you're always gonna have those situations or those comments of not being successful or not gonna make the playoffs, and then once you do make the playoffs, then that's a different story. Then you can ask me that question again. I might have a different answer.
Now that you've gone through your first preseason as head coach, have you been able to reflect at all and kind of determine, is there any difference between regular season Jordan Stewart and preseason Jordan Stewart?
I think having a preseason, it helps because you can get ideas across and you have more time to work with a lot of players because you have basically 6 weeks to kind of rehearse before the main event. Whereas obviously you're coming in the season. I'm not saying this is an excuse because you're coming in the season and it's like hands to the pump. Like you're trying to win games, right? And trying to through the week trying to assess who you think can give you that system or to give you that win, right? So I think when you have a preseason, you have a bigger idea. Obviously, with all the staff changes, we have those things that we can help provide more things to the players and more organization through the staff to the players, and it becomes more streamlined when you have a preseason. And then you're hoping that 6 weeks then transfers into the season. And obviously, there's, you're gonna have high moments, you're gonna have low moments. But if you can keep closer to that consistency level, then I think you're in favor of having a good season.
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions we have. I will say,
Yep.
You called the beautiful game soccer twice, and I'm going to make sure that your mates back home know about it, because I'm sure they're going to get you some trouble.
No, but the thing is, when I was doing the presentation yesterday, and like before, the first slide had soccer on, I was like, I'm in America, so I'm going to call it soccer here. But when I'm at home or outside of doing any media, I call it football.
But soccer is an original British term, right?
Yeah, but no one.
Yeah, no one.
I'll still call it football.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, we really, really appreciate you spending the time with us. We're so excited for this season. I know
Thank you.
As two fans of many, we're just like, we're ready, man. We're ready to skip San Antonio and let's get back here. We want to see it on field. So thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be on the lookout for you during the season.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.